Hey ladies, this week we are almost halfway through our summer Bible study of 1 Timothy. So I just wanted to say congratulations. I know you ladies have been working so hard and I am really so proud of you the way that you're digging into God's Word. So keep it up. All right. Today we start in chapter 3 in 1 Timothy. So that's your reading assignment. But as you read, I want you to keep an eye out for some big details or perhaps for some principles that you see along the way. Now, you may be tempted to think that this chapter does not refer to you if you are not in some sort of paid or official leadership capacity in the local church. But this chapter is for all men and women. Yes, it's for leaders, but ladies, as we all grow in our walk with Christ, we become women who lead other women to God's Word. And so these words in this chapter are so necessary for us. Don't skip over them. So look for the key principles that you see at play, because all of God's Word is good. All of it is necessary for our lives, even if we're not on roll at a church someplace, okay? You got me? We need God's Word. We need it to conform and align our conscience with His Word and His standards for us, and we need to learn to be able to walk in that purpose for which He has created all of us and each of us. We need His Word to make us seaworthy vessels, if you will. Because you know I love a good theme, so we got to stick with the nautical theme here. But we need God's Word to make us true seaworthy vessels capable of fulfilling that purpose for which He created us. Now, in maritime law, seaworthiness did not really refer to whether a boat simply floated or not. Being, seaworthy referred to more than just the bells and whistles that sometimes a boat might have, how beautiful it was. It didn't refer to how old the boat was, if it was new or if it was old. And it didn't even refer to experience, how many storms that ship had weathered on the open waters. But seaworthiness in maritime law just simply refers to, does that boat fulfill its design? Ladies, we have a specific design. God has designed us as believers to function not individually, but as a body. And so in chapter 3, we're going to see that truth on huge display. How are we seaworthy, and what disqualifies us as we go about and live our lives from that purpose? Because we can, in the way that we live our lives, prove to be unseaworthy vessels. Ladies, this chapter is going to lay out some principles, so I want you to look for those as you read. And I want you to consider this key question. What does godliness have to do with the church? What does godliness, what does the way I live my life, the way I go about it, the way I make my decisions, the way I respond, the godliness that stems from our heart, we learned in the previous chapter, how does that relate and impact the church? How does godliness impact the church? That's what I want you to think of. Because there are so many ways in which we can tarnish our seaworthiness. Even though our salvation is secure, we can play a big role in our ability to fulfill that purpose. And one way is in which we take on lies and we tie our souls to those lies. This big theme, this overarching theme that Paul has been talking about. That when we tie our souls to lies, we are in essence taking on water. And a big measure of our ability to keep our seaworthy status is if we have learned to drain out that water that we're taking on. The drain hole was a key component of whether a boat was considered seaworthy or not. God's Word helps us align our conscience with His. It helps transform us and make us seaworthy vessels. And our ability to obey the Spirit and walk in His promptings so that we can learn to spot those lies and drain them out so that we aren't weighed down by them has a huge impact in our ability to fulfill our basic design, to walk in that purpose for which we were created. Ladies, we can't do that alone. It depends on our ability to stay in the Word, obey the Spirit's promptings, to read when we're supposed to read, to study God's Word when we're supposed to study, and how that fleshes out in the life of the church, the purpose for which we were created. Ladies, you have done a fabulous job. I am so proud of you. Keep up the good work. And then on Thursday, when we come back and we spend some time together looking at chapter 3, we'll look at that key question. What does godliness have to do with the church? Happy reading, and I'll see you gals later.